I call the Honourable Member Gareth Hughes.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker, and ngā mihi nui kia koutou kia ora. I was just reflecting on that very entertaining speech by the Honourable Shane Jones, and I was wondering what type of drink it would be. And I guess it's more akin to a mocktail or a shandy, kind of colourful, filling, but not a great deal of substance. Because let's be frank, Labour had maybe 2-3 opportunities in its cabinet discussions about the blood alcohol level, and it didn't act. I congratulate the Labour Party for taking a strong stance now, introducing a private members bill about it now. But let's be frank, we should have done this a decade ago. We've missed opportunities in the past. We can't be missing this opportunity with this bill's passing through Parliament. I want to acknowledge the new Mr Speaker and his chair. Welcome to the new role. Kia ora. I want to acknowledge the Select Committee members who heard a great number of submissions on the Select Committee. I want to acknowledge the submitters. We heard some pretty powerful testimony. You know, it's not an academic bill we're talking about. We're talking about real people's lives. And many people in this country, their whole lives have changed literally in a second, on a road, on a motorway. And unfortunately, alcohol is such a massive problem in our country. The Green position when it comes to road safety is we need to do everything we can to ensure our roads are safer. This should be a priority of the government. Unfortunately, it's not. Their priority at the moment is trying to find $10.7 billion to invest in just 7 new roads. I didn't bring my graph with me tonight, but a graph I've tried to table in this Parliament shows the government policy statement between the last government and the current government, and what you see is Stephen Joyce has literally raided the entire transport budget, all the transport classes from road sealing to road safety to fund his pet roads of national significance. The Green Party is proud to have always stood up for road safety in this Parliament, and that's why we will be voting in favour of this bill tonight, but we do have some concerns. First, the good. The Minister outlined some of the reasons why we're supporting this bill. There are some good parts, even though the intents are maybe modest. We do think it's important we do something about the terrible impact of alcohol and young and inexperienced drivers. I guess my story is on my 15th birthday I went out and got my learner's driver's licence. As soon as I got my restricted driver's licence, I hit the McDonald's drive-through to get my first drive-through as I could drive by myself. I grew up in Gisborne, all of my mates, the driving ambition was to get a car as soon as you could. Had a bike? No, as soon as I could I bought my car and drove to school every day, and the Minister might not know. No, I think I might be the only member now who doesn't own a car, but I'm also maybe a member who knows how to change a car engine. I was a bit of a boy racer growing up in high school, and I admit I did some stupid things in my car as a 16-year-old, and I think many in this chamber would also have some similar pretty dumb experiences. So it's important that we raise the driving age. It's been a bit of a challenge for the Green Party to decide what we will do on the driving age, but we do support raising the age to 16, moving us into line with other international countries, because it will have an impact where we take an evidence-based approach to it. You know, in New Zealand we've got 60% worse accidents for our young people than we do in Australia. We support the moves around the interlocks, the zero blood alcohol levels for repeat offenders. We acknowledge the important but small-scale changes on the Select Committee around the cumulative work days, the blood specimen changes, how making it easy for vacutainers, empowering the NZTA to take some more powers in regards to taxis. That all we support, but when it comes to the key missing part of this legislation, it's two things. On one hand, it's the treatment of offenders, and on the other hand, it's reducing the blood alcohol level. Firstly, with the treatment, much like the other alcohol legislation going through this Parliament, we're focusing on the minutiae, the easy to do. When it comes to young people, it's easy to scapegoat them as the offenders. We know across this country, drinking isn't a youth problem, it's a cultural problem. 92% of our problem drinkers are aged over 20. And when it comes to treatment, this is the missing part of the road safety puzzle in this legislation. 80% of our repeat drink drivers meet the criteria in this country for a drinking problem, yet those 5% of the 30,000 people in this country annually convicted of drink driving offences go to a drug or alcohol assessment. Only 5% of that 30,000 people. The Ministry of Transport said they will be working with other government departments on treatment option. And it's a pity the Minister's not here, but I look forward in the committee stages to finding out what progress has been made, because this is the key missing part of the puzzle. When it comes to the blood alcohol level, we're an international outlier. We've got 23 other nations, similar Western nations, who have dropped their blood alcohol level to 0.5. And why have they done it? Because it works. what we're talking about and what the officials are advising us is we could be saving right now in this country annually between 11 and 33 lives. We could be saving between 300 and more than 600 serious accidents every year. The single most effective thing we could be doing, but we're not doing, is lowering the blood alcohol level. Why are we doing it? I'm just not sure, because the majority of the submissions were clear. I mean, we had just a couple of submissions in favour of maintaining our far out, our international outlier position. Well, I think the AA is a really interesting point, Mr Woodhouse, and the fact that most of their members, I think, sign up to get the roadside assistance. I'm not sure how much they can talk on behalf of all their members. But I think the AA did make a serious submission. They raised some excellent points. But the only submitters I can recall who submitted in favour of 0.8 was the AA, the Clubs Association of New Zealand, and the Hospitality Association. And as I asked them in the Select Committee, do their members have to be drunk to enjoy their premises? And that's the thing, we need an entire cultural change. We don't need to be legally drunk, as Professor Doug Selman in his submission said that between 0.5 and 0.8 is. It's driving legally drunk. We need to make a change. We don't need more research. We heard in the Select Committee there's more than 300 international reports when it comes to lowering the blood alcohol level. We're not going out on a limb. This is simply going in within the World Health Organization guidelines. We know we could be saving a considerable number of lives. We know public opinion's on our side. One opinion poll put it at 85% supported the 0.5 BAC or the 2 drinks minimum. We're missing a massive opportunity in this country to be saving lives, saving the economy. We're talking potentially $300 million or more at a time when we're borrowing $300 million internationally a week. And I want to finish just on the submission of Professor Doug Selman, one of the experts when it comes to alcohol in New Zealand. I'm glancing over his submission and he says we've legalised drunk driving in New Zealand with our current blood alcohol level. Decisions like these make me ashamed to be a New Zealander, end quote. And just the last point, I'll read out a substantive paragraph from Professor Doug Selman. Let every death and every injury that incurs in fellow citizens over the next 2 years and the suffering of their families be felt by those members of Parliament who are actively conspiring against the safety, the health and well-being of ordinary New Zealanders for the sake of other agendas by supporting more research rather than action now on legal drunk driving. And shame on those members of Parliament who sit back and do nothing while the scandalous decision is passed into law. We're missing a massive opportunity. Will it happen in 5 years? Will it happen in 2 years? To finish on the words of Professor Selman, do the right thing.